Everybody, it's Patrick at the pitch deck. We are here with round 3 with Prism. We are 2-0, and it is the one and only Rhea Adams bringing AB2 with Prism. It's one of those things that usually Prism will go AB1 and just not have the room for stilettos. However, Rhea was mentioning that she has a local that is a Kano and kind of has to use the AB2 to help a little bit more. It hurts the waning moon for our main phase a little bit more than it would for if somebody has AB1. They can just usually have the waning moon pop the angel if there's an angel on the field, or typically the angel will just die and then the thing can come in afterwards, whatever spell you're playing in response to it. So we are going second here. And fortunately for us, this is just going to be for 5. So we're going to try to soak it up with some 2 blocks here and try to prevent the figment as much as possible. So, and this is also for 5 or 6, but we can also 2 block at the expense of the sonic boom. So I think it's actually a pretty good play that we do this because there's no figment turn 0, which is obviously pretty good, but we can't blitz Prism turn 0. We just have to have a really good hand in order to be able to do so. With this, we draw up to our turn. We have 3 blues plus lesson. Not too crazy. Lesson just comes in for 3. Can actually get the 1 damage tutor in. But we would like to have a really good arsenal if we can. So I'm actually just going to shoot lesson here. And then search. I'm not going to respond because there's nothing to respond to in terms of waning moon in response to my lesson, because there's no angel. Because at that point it gives them an ultimatum to rather lesson and then into what do I want to get hit by, lesson, or do I want to get hit by the moon type of thing. So 1 damage goes through, and this is a rough matchup. Don't get it stuck in your head that it's an easy matchup, but it is pretty rough. Illusionist has a very good history of being a good matchup into Wizards just in general. It was harder for OG Prism, for a Kano to go against OG Prism starting at 40 life, having Heralds being thrown at you with go again. It could be up to 3 Heralds just if the resources are pretty good. A lot of the time, the Spectral Shields will come down as well for OG Prism, so we're just going to play it like a little bit of a longer game. I'm not well versed into this matchup as well because it's such a bad matchup. However, I do have a really good teammate who is a Prism main. Actually, a couple are starting to get pretty good at Prism, so I'm going to practice a little bit more. So we're going to go ahead and shoot this for 2 cards, or activate it for 2 cards. Yep. So we see a good arsenal target. It's not too bad. So here, I don't actually think I should be shooting the moon. There's nothing to shoot, like I mentioned before. Use the 2 floating that could be used off the top, and then maybe save a blue if we wanted to. All this ship really isn't the craziest thing. So we will go with an opt here. So we see Eye of Ophidia along with a Wildfire. Here, I was told by one of my teammates, one of the teammates that I spoke of, that this is my window here, and I should have kept it on top, having 3 blues, one of them being Eye, and Wildfire. So I could potentially trade my Ragamuffins hat with my Wildfire for the Halo. Because you only get like an opening that you see rarely, and this is one of those things. But I end up bottoming because I want to push a lot more damage, push more damage type of thing. And maybe because I've got 2 blues, maybe I can push a massive amount of damage, maybe a 2 cost card here. So we end up just seeing a prog, which is really not that great. And so we shoot this for 1. Apologize for the sideways camera. It's a little bit wonky for this game. It's going to be that way for a little bit. Take it to 29. Maybe I should have just kept this blue, to be fair. So we see something that we can't do or use. So we would have seen the prog that was on top along with the amnesia. we would have seen underneath the Amnesia, we would have seen a Quickening. The Quickening would have been underneath it. Prism is throwing out a Triumph with 1 card in hand, right? So typically, Halo Trick needs 2 cards, 1 to pay. If it was a blue, then it doesn't have to go again, then it can safely block out type of thing. This is where one of those things, one of those really bad decisions that I paid for not seeing the line, because I can potentially try to hit Rhea shield down type of thing, where there's no soul, 1 card in hand, used for AB2 probably because it could be a yellow. So AB2 with Spell Void 2, which could knock it down to 1 if I really cared about the Wildfire. I'm trading Wildfire for my Wildfire Rags and the Halo, so that's usually a pretty good thing because Halo is one of those annoyances that we have to get through. If we can clear out the ward, it's pretty much a really nice game from then on out. Take note, she does have Rapture, so that's also another ward 1. So at that point for combo, if there was no Angels, then there would be AB3 on the combo turn, and then followed up by AB2. So here, she does an automatic flip, which allows me to get to the point where I can deal with Soraya. I have some teammates that protect Soraya like it's their own child at that point. Soraya is the bread and butter to get back into the game, where you can basically double block, double block, double block, double block, and then start with Soraya with Rhea, Herald type of thing, because it's your first Angel and your first Herald that gets go again, or maybe Angel, Herald, Angel type of thing. So it's an automatic flip because of the Rapture for the free flip. There's no pop for this, which is fine. I mean, we're not gonna pop, but I think I'm making a mistake as well, because I can put Rhea in the position that I was gonna that I missed before. If I had seen it now, I should have just sent Amnesia to Rhea, so that way it's sort of in the same situation where there's 1 card in hand. If it's being played from Arsenal, which is the best situation, it would be tapped out type of thing, where maybe the hand has a better attack. But I send it at Soraya instead at face, which I should have just sent it at face. She would have to give me 2 cards, depending on her hand, because of the fact that it stops go again for the Heralds and the Angels. So it stops go again. She would only be able to do 1 attack. So that's kind of like the lesson learned type of thing. That was the first popper, so now that she knows I have poppers in the deck. So now this one is coming in for... Is that a red one? I think it's just a double block, because this is a Triumph one. Yeah, so this is just yellow Triumph. And Prism's ratios for pitching is very predictable. Kind of like the cost of your curve rather than equal to the cost of your hand type of thing. So it's one of those things I need to pick on. I need to pick up on it and analyze it a little bit more, because I'm not well versed into this matchup. So it's one of those things I need to keep a lookout for. A yellow was paid for Triumph, and then a blue floating with the Tenacity follow up with 1 floating. So protection here sucks because of the fact that it's AB3, and I wanted to shoot 3 at the I wanted to shoot 3 with my flare or with my sonic boom. Either way, I can kind of achieve the breaking of the Angel, but AB2 plus a shield is basically AB3 for my first attack, and then the ward would just be safe because you can AB2 on the moon, which really, really sucks. That's why protection's so good into Kano over Triumphs. Protection's a little bit more coveted, especially if you're running AB1. This is like, oh, do you want this protection to hit so I can get a Figment and I get a Spectral Shield? So protection here is a little bit wonky. So go with Tunic with Flare. And in response, I should have done the Moon to give the ultimatum like I was speaking on before. The ultimatum is, do you want this Angel to be hit by the Moon, or do you want to AB1 plus Spectral Shield and then go with the Angel to soak up the 3 damage type of thing? So if the Spectral Shield wasn't in it, it'd be a more difficult ultimatum for which one do I want to get hit by, Moon or Flare type of thing. And we usually go with like Flare first. So that way there's hidden information. There's the sideways camera, I apologize. So we had a Gaze the Ages, can expect a hand. So we see nothing really gonna happen with this blazing. Honestly, I should have just bought them both. I don't think I should have kept the bolt to shoot bolt. But the bolt is guaranteeing that I can get the Angel dead. I don't know if that's worth an arsenal or not. That's why I did it. To like say, okay, maybe the Angel can die and then I can just have no arsenal, which is very less scary. it's like any opponent that sees Kano without an arsenal should have a sigh of relief, because that's one of those things that makes Kano so scary. Almost like Icelander in a way. There's no arsenal for Icelander, you can just do whatever you want to her. And that was like her main power. Kano can still do whatever he wants to, but the boots target's a little bit rough. So the protection that I talk about is a little you definitely want to block that out over anything else. Protection is what you want to block out. And then the Herald, which we're just gonna have to take because we have 2 no blocks. And the reason why OG Prism was so scary is because you just get Herald spam and like half of your life is already dead within 1 turn because you can't block every time. Along with the OG Prism as well, there was like Tank Prism, where Tank Prism was mostly about trying to survive and use the little shields as Kodachis, basically. So there was 2 versions of OG Prism, and that was actually the one that gave us a run for our money, was Tank Prism. Herald Prism was also a little bit rough, but you just had to get luckier, I guess. The 32 life for OG Prism helps, because they do recognize the power of the ward that the angels come with. So it is a little bit balanced in that way. So we can like just get really nuts off the top for the activations and things like that. So like, oh, I can just take nothing and then you die potentially if you want to do that that way. So we're gonna do some math here on this Herald here. Herald is coming in for 8 right now. Would have been nice for a popper, but we'll check our graveyard just a little bit. And the reason why the poppers is nice is because for AB2 you sacrifice getting your action point back with your stilettos instead of having to pay 1. I think the Phantasmal Footsteps you pay 3 for it. I can't remember if it's just for dragons or if it's for attacks. We block 3 cards here, and we'll play out this potion and then take the 4 damage for that as vanilla. I mean, it's not like we have an option here, but we're just gonna have to settle with the lesser of 2 evils. Keep the figments as low as possible, as well as its protection still. That means if there was a soul, it was going to get to soul, the protection can gain 2 more shields, which really, really, really makes us far behind. Having protection die is the utmost important, which is probably a reason why I did what I did, though I don't know if it was great. The value of this D-pot is not worth popping the angel. or AB2, because that just forces it to AB2. This is why AB2 is so hard to get with the main phase moons. This would just force the angel to die on an AB1 for Prism. It makes the matchup so much more rough than it already is. So I should have just valued the potion here. Just hope that Rhea has a dominated Herald attack, double block for my action point, play the depot, and just go about my day. If it was back-to-back Heralds, because we would not want the protection, like mentioned, to get soul to gain more shields. That's all we're trying to do, is keep that from getting out of control. We see another triumph, we gotta block it. There's just no reason not to block it. The on hit is the Figment Search and soul part of the deal. So it's a very bad 2-for-1. And I think I probably could have changed it up a little bit. Maybe block with a blazing, but I think I had already blocked with another blazing before. I'm just probably getting worried on getting low on my blazings, as well as higher like spell void. Like when you come across spell void decks like this, the blazings are a little bit better, as well as moon. So your target for blazing is increased when it comes to the combo turn on your opponent. Moon increases it that way, so it's slightly better for the damage combo to be better on blazing and arsenal. That's your main focus. We're still trying to think on this, whether we would just give a blocking card or not. We are getting down to the point where, you know, just vanilla 4 damage is not a lot, but it is getting close to the point where we would have to care about it. So we're just gonna have to take the 4 here. We could give the popper, but let's just say that let's bank on the first Herald not being a popper and go about our day. So we can, or sorry, the first Herald not being a triumph, so we can pop it. That's what I'm trying to say. But I think earlier, whenever there was a Herald thrown in for 7, I think I could have given 2 cards plus Tunic at the very early stages, now that I think about it. Block value has not been used for Tunic, but it is good for constant resources. However, we do have 2 potions, so it's not too crazy right now for getting to that point. So we can use that block value if we ever see a 7 cost attack. We pass back by peeing ourselves with a popper. We thought on it for a little bit. It was a little bit weird. So here we can pop and get a little bit of distance. It does have go again, which is no importance to us. This is not active because this is the only nourishing in our hand and or deck. So this is the only nourishing that we run. I would have to pick up more copies to help out with the very first nourishing that we see. Could go to face. It's an option for us that the first one is always live rather than Amnesia. However, Amnesia also works right now until I can get those. Amnesia just shutting off the go again really does have the potential of, oh, you take 6, but I can only send 4, so what's the deal? I just have to block anyways, then kind of go shields down by tapping out, pitch, go in my hand, or go from arsenal if you don't have an arsenal type of thing. So we'll draw 2 cards. We see a blue and a lesson in lava. One of the things I need to get better at is learning to overpitch when it comes to my action point already being used. That was my action point. I should have went with the lesson and the tome because I could have been in an awkward situation where I have to IP myself. I had some very good criticism pointed that I don't underpitch very well. And I actually started doing it in my another RTN, so we're going to get to that later. But underpitching to make sure you don't IP yourself is nice. But for this one, it's just a singe. It sucks. There's nothing that was found off the top, but we'll just do this for one. There's nothing really that we could do. Imagine if we had that depot. You know what I mean? This tome would have been nuts. Any other tomes further on, that value of the tome is crazy. It just exponentially skyrockets at that point. We do see our second depot being pitched here, but it would have been nice if we had played the depot to begin with. I don't think the value of the depot earlier was well established. So we send Moon. Protection Angel finally dies. So the compounding effect of the shields coming through won't hurt anymore because she's dead. So Protection Angel down. Plus the ward for it, which is also very relevant. So we'll go ahead and Kano here. And this is where we make a decision. It's a red spindle. And I'm finally getting some type of tempo back. Some type of control over the game where I'm not just blocking. I think on this for a little bit. And I've been kind of transitioning through these scenes so that way you don't have to look at the very long think between certain turns here. The game was a lot longer. We almost went to time, basically, and we're sitting at 40 minutes for the video here. So we send 4. Rhea's definitely got to think about this one for a little bit. It is worth an E-pot, however, you got to take a note. E-pots are worth 10 when it comes to the value of wildfire. Like it's the most of the 4, like 2 resources towards wildfire can be 5 points each, meaning that the value of potions on our combo turn is pretty relevant. So it's helping me try to get back. I think it was a desperation move that I'm not so sure I should have done. Let me know if that was a questionable decision in the comments. It's kind of like, okay, I'm so far behind. Let me know if I need anything here. So we don't have another popper in our hand. I think we've got one more in our deck. I think on this one for a little bit. It's nothing special. Oh, 1 card in hand with block 6 and we get punished because it's +2 for the attack, which will then get the figment and we just get punished a little bit here. We go down to 4. The figment ensues. We do have Tome and a blue in our hand. I don't think that we're going to use our Tunic resource for the Tome of Findall. It can be an option, but I don't think we're going to use it straight away as our beginning image for our turn. The reason why is because we do have a potion, but there is the need for us being at 4. We could use it on our combo turn rather than just using the blue that's in our hand automatically. So the Ravage's figment is coming down, pinging us for 1.
Yep. I'm gonna move to activate Prism. Targeting the Ravages. Yeah, the Prism flip is good. Okay. I'm gonna try to pass turn.
So there's a lot of nuances that Kano and Prism have that other matchups really don't have. I guess you could say Chain in like Living Legend format. If you were to bring new Prism into that format. You could also say maybe Vincett. Vincett's also a pretty good matchup for where you can have...
Yeah, you're good.
You can have Judgment banish one of your banished cards face down. So whenever you go to combo, you need to make sure that when you go into it with everything already laid out and you're starting your combo, you have to kind of do it backwards. If Judgment's in pitch, then you're fine, right? Then you can do the normal order. But I'll talk about that a little bit on the combo turn. So whenever we go here, we're going with a Tome of Findal, and she responds with her own Tome of Divinity, pitching 2 cards. I guess it's a cycle piece. I'm actually not sure how long that card's been in her arsenal for, I think, well, definitely a long time. So she lets it go. Everybody's drawing cards. We do see Wildfire. We definitely need to keep it. We may need it for our turn. We're at 3 life. It's a little rocky right now. We may need it. Okay, so we see another E-Pot, right? We would have had a lot of we've had a lot of E-Pots, a lot of E-Pots. At least one if I played a little bit tighter in the beginning there. And it would have been nice on our turn here. D-Pot can act as your secondary rags. There is an angel on the field, arena, what have you. So... Okay, so we're not dead here. Okay, so we're not dead when it comes to erudition. And the reason why that we could probably block this is because it doesn't have go again. No go again is less scary, and then we go down to 1. Ravages is already on the field, so we don't have to worry about going to 1 and then getting figmented for 1 arcane. We can still pay into 1 arcane. However, that's just a neat little trick to help tighten up the no arcane decks that Prism play. So it's kind of like the finisher in a way, and one of those win cons because Ravages pings for 2 arcane when attacking and banishing a soul card. So we are going with 2 Kano activations here. Maybe I should have just blocked and went to 1. Then there's the potential of another pump. And then I just die. Then I'm down 3 resources. I basically have a potion on the field. Because I have 1 potion plus Tunic to help out with that. So we have Blazing. We need the middle card to do it. And this is kind of like the half combo that I'm talking about that I missed before. Imagine if Halo was gone. We still have the Angel. We can help try to deal with that. But there's 2 cards. There's 1 floating and there's 1 card in her hand. So it depends on how that... Like, you can use Moon to clear the Angel. It's 3 damage that she cannot prevent. However, the Rapture's still up. The chess piece is still up. So the ward 1 can protect against that, but then you can respond to something else with the ward. It gets really confusing whenever it gets to the combo turn. A lot of different nuances that you can do as Kano to help, like, which is the best time to respond. And I'm still learning that, and that's probably something I need to test with my teammates for sure. Teammates, need to help me whenever it comes to the Prism matchup, and I've got a lot of people who know Prism and a lot of people who know Kano. So we got Moon coming in to try to clear the Angel, right? And this is what I was talking about, where before we pay into nodes, we do have Moon coming in. We popped everything. One floating. We didn't find a blue, which is sad. Would have been nice with this tome that we could find something and then guarantee the blue and have more with a D-pot. It's definitely compounding that we didn't play it because the value of protection probably meant more during that time. So the Moon gets soaked for that little portion there. And we would still need to let the Wildfire go through. I think I probably should have let the Kano go through, because that Kano that's floating, I think I need to let that go through in case I need to pop more wards before the multiplier is done, because now the multiplier doesn't even matter, and at that point it's a little rough. And I used it for no reason, so I think I should have not used my nodes. Oh, sorry about that before. There was Halo being used for the Moon. So the Spell Void is going through for Moon. And the Tunic is still up. Plus AB3, or AB2. So at that point, it will be AB3 for whenever I try to need to go off again. But we're pretty far behind, and this is exactly what I could have done. Like, there's no reason to do it now, I think. I think I could have had a better turn on my turn with what I've had. Just block with probably the Spindle. And then go with Tome as my action point. Maybe that was way better. So we are down to equipment, and I think I shouldn't have used the equipment for nodes, like I mentioned before. So it's a little rough. We did half combo without anything to... I think we did half combo too late, is what I'm trying to say. We did it too late. With combo coming in a little too late, it was... beginning would be probably the best time to do it at the beginning. So with the combo and judgment, she can banish Trick with having a Figment come down through Halo, sacrificing Spell Void 2, but potentially getting a card banished out of the way so the value actually skyrockets when it comes to Spell Void 2 rather than that. So you can go with Judgment, banishing the card face down. It's not part of your combo anymore. You have to do it backwards, where maybe like middle spell, then Wildfire, and then Blazing or whatever is in your arsenal. So here we're popping the War Tune to save us some really nice breakpoints. We would have not have anything if it wasn't a popper, but actually that's one of the things that I was looking forward to. If I did want to do half combo very, very late, that I would find my last Amnesia. So the last Amnesia would have been nice to find off Rags and save ourselves a little bit of life. There, actually, I think that's when I should give the Tunic rather than... if I didn't have a popper, it would be 2 cards plus Tunic, and then I'm not going to get my Tunic trigger to come all the way around back to 3, I don't think. It's looking a little rocky, because another Dominate could just come in and destroy me. So we have to use our very last Wildfire, and at that point, we just need to clear this ward and go about our day. As we need some cards being stripped out of Rhea's hand, so in response we will shoot the Moon, in which I should have been doing before whenever it comes to angels on the field. Alright, so AB2 on the moon, plus then let the wildfire get soaked up. We're gonna have to bank on red flares if I have any in the deck. I haven't been tracking it. Really? I have to look through my graveyard. So here we've got a Triumph. And we had like 5 minutes in the round or something like that. So 4 blues plus blazing. It's pretty much as good as any time. We can block. So it wouldn't really do anything, but I think this is 7 and that's why it is. I think it's a red one. So this one's coming in for 7, which means it's just, I'm dead at that point. If I block for double heralds, it's not great.
Now let it resolve in response. Sure.
So we see Tome. Oh, I do remember this. So there was a mini combo stack that I was doing before. I was putting tomes together with some blues as like your subconscious is in the back, kind of just working that out.
Another tome.
So I was thinking tome. I'll say it in the game. Tome. Is there another tome? I knew I stacked some tomes in there, so it was like our last big shot to just try to do as much as damage as possible. There is no angel. There's AB2 plus your rapture, so there has to be a lot of stuff coming through. And imagine if I had nodes here, I can node it to 4, guarantee that I get over that. Rapture can come through, and then we can. There's AB2. If it's AB2, then I can respond to the rapture with the moon, and then see if there's an AB2 after the moon. And we get a whiff of all things. Oh, that's unfortunate for the boom to not further our very short combo here. It could have been like 2 cards tunic, 2 cards type of thing. Unless it was 7/7, then we'd be dead. But I think it's just a good enough time to just go off. We can play this as well. There's nothing that we can really do. There was like 2 gazes, 1 gaze in the pitch, 1 gaze in my hand. I'm not exactly sure. There is a tome. We can go with like tome gaze, or something like that. I probably could have done that, but I think I was trying to get to that other tome that I know that's in my stack. And then I missed it. And I say, is there a tome on here? Nope, it's a lesson in lava. Oh, we're just kind of grasping at straws here. Trying to do our best. This is not going to work out. It's the writing's on the wall. I don't think I can do anything with my pitch deck. Even without wildfire, I think it'd be a very tall ask. I think that's the only blazing that we have. I can't remember if there's any other blazings in the deck as well. And the reason why I'm not doing this is because I'm so sure of that damn tome in there to at least give me some type of structure. I'm trying to find it, and there it is. Our tome that we had pitched earlier with some blues. But all in all, very hard matchup. I think I could have cleaned some things up. I missed some opportunities. Definitely a learning match for me. I need to play it some more and get familiar with the matchup. It's one of those things I just kind of always just sacked and not really went through because there's so many windows of opportunity. So we see a 0 cost, definitely not going to work. And managed to see what's up and spindle. So that's GG's. On to round number 5. Thanks for watching, guys.